Hello everyone, welcome to the Revelation and Web Adventure channel. Today we'll discuss an article written by Zayawas, rather than focusing on him specifically. He wrote this article in the Horus magazine. The Horus magazine is the monthly magazine found on the flights of the Egyptian company, a company we took a few weeks ago with the group, when we did Cairo to Soins, then Luxor, Cairo. And I found it very interesting to find in this Horus magazine an article by Zayawas, as he often does in the Horus Review, which deals with many things including the Merer Papyrus. But in reading this article, it struck me that he made it public, if I may say so. The fact that some people, perhaps including you and me, are convinced, or at least who have this little intuition that the pyramids might not have been built by the 4th dynasty. I found it very surprising that they would mention it in a magazine with such reach. So I'm going to show you a little bit. So this article, it's here. So this article, it's very nice despite everything. And since it's in English, I thought that. Given the increasing number of translation requests I receive, I plan to focus more on translating information, so I can share them with you on the channel. So the starting point of this article is the potential secret underground city hidden under the Sphinx. Then he develops, as I was saying, towards the Merer Papyrus, and then he comes back to, in general, the undergrounds of the Giza Plateau. And regarding the Merer Papyrus, I am currently preparing a translation of the papyri and the complete interpretation that was made following the translation of the hieroglyphs on the Merer Papyrus. So that will come in the next few days. But for today, we're going to stick to this article by Zayawas in the Horus magazine. And the way I made this video, quite simply, is by translating the article and reading it as if I were Zayawas. So you'll see that there are some writing approximations. The parts often lack smooth transitions, resulting in a raw and unpolished feel. It's a pure translation, and then it's me who reads it as if I were Zayawas reading you my article. So if there are things that are a little bit confusing, don't hesitate to leave comments, to ask your questions in the comments. And then it's off as usual. Thanks for your loyalty. See you at the end of the video. Recently, an English newspaper just published a theory that there would be a hole in the back of the Sphinx's head leading to a secret city. Underneath it, the same newspaper also said that 2 researchers, whose names remain unknown, are the origin of this discovery. Personally, I am convinced that no self-respecting researcher would put forward such absurdities. The hole behind the Sphinx's head is a known feature, and was first opened by Hawass, an English explorer who used dynamite to open tunnels in the Sphinx in 1837. A little aside that I allow myself for the channel, we will note that in 1837, it's about gunpowder, not dynamite, because dynamite was only patented in 1857. Back to the article. The first tunnel opened by Weiss was behind the Dream Stele, and the second at the back of the Sphinx's head, penetrating 15 meters into the body of the statue. The third known tunnel was located on the north face of the Sphinx and opened by the French archaeologist Émile Barrès, also author of major restoration work on the Sphinx. In 1987, the Egyptologist Mark Lehner and I began cleaning these 4 tunnels. Yes, the article mentions 4 tunnels, even though only 3 have been discussed so far. Back to the article. The tunnel, opened in 1922 by Barrès, was reopened during the Sphinx's restoration, which started in 1999. We mapped the tunnels and discovered that those who imagined secrets hidden under the Sphinx had themselves dug the tunnels during the 26th dynasty, but nothing has ever been discovered there. During my investigations, I also discovered that the water table level was rising in front of the Sphinx. It was necessary to lower it in order to protect the statue. Thus, the engineering department of the University of Cairo conducted drillings around the Sphinx and carried out 5 test drillings through the Sphinx down to a depth of 20 meters, beneath the surface of the rocky substrate of the Giza Plateau. We have photos of the Sphinx's underground structure. It is made of rocks, and there is nothing hidden. People putting forward such erroneous theories do so, with the aim of demonstrating that the Sphinx and the pyramids were not built by the 4th dynasty, but rather by a lost civilization dating back to 15,000. To silence them, I just need to mention archaeologist Pierre Tallet's recent great discovery. He found in Wadi Jafra near Suez a papyrus that can be considered, in my opinion, as the greatest discovery of the 21st century. The papyrus was translated by Tallet. It is the diary of a man named Merer, who, in his time, held the title of inspector. He was responsible for a team of 40 workers assigned to the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. In his diary, Merer says he went with his men to Tura, where the limestone used for the casing of the pyramid is found. He mentions the transport of stone blocks on boats that sailed on canals to the pyramid site. We know that the ancient Egyptians had dug a wide canal parallel to the Nile, and that it was connected to smaller canals, arriving at the Giza Plateau and ending at ports. In this papyrus, Merer says he is leaving Atura for Wadi al-Jarf, where there was a port. He may have gone there to bring copper extracted in the Sinai. He lists the date of this papyrus as being the 27th anniversary of the reign of Khufu, a date also mentioned. In a quarry in the western desert where Mafet was extracted, Mafet was a red pigment used to write on the blocks of the pyramids. Merer also speaks of a Kas anchor, supervisor of a place called Arak, meaning the mouth of the lake. It is thought that Rach could have been the place where the delivery of food and materials related to the construction of the pyramid took place. Chapter 3 in this papyrus says it took him a day to reach the pyramid construction site, probably due to the traffic at the entrance of Giza and the many stone blocks present on the site. According to Tallet, the part facing the Sphinx was called Angre Rufu, meaning the life of Rufu. Let's remember that Rufu was the Egyptian name for Khufu, and that Angre is the famous key of life, one of the strongest symbols of ancient Egypt. Back to the article. In the past, I explained why the pharaoh could not live in Memphis, as this city was too far away. If he wanted to visit the pyramid site, it would have taken him an entire day, as they did not have horses at that time. But in a sharpened tomb, there is an inscription saying that the pharaoh Djedkare Assesi from the 5th dynasty lived in a sharpened palace. Even the papyrus of Wadi al-Jafr also indicates that the pharaoh's palace is sharpened. This therefore means that the pharaoh ruled the country from the site of the pyramids. Some people think there is a lake under the Great Pyramid, but there is no lake. This theory stems from approximations and ramblings made by the Greek historian Herodotus. However, there is a well located south of the alley connecting the Pyramid of Khafra to the Sphinx, at the bottom of which waters rise up to 20 meters below ground level. This unstudied well's only known information comes from Herodotus' sayings. When I conducted excavations in this well, I discovered that it was actually a symbolic burial for the god.
I hope that this
video pleased you, that this translation of Zayawas' article in the Horus magazine will have pleased you. If so, feel free to share on social media. If this article has raised some questions in you, don't hesitate to place them, as I said in the comments down below. And then me, as I also announced at the beginning of the video, I'm working very hard on a translation of the Merer Papyrus, which I will put on the channel as soon as possible. And as always, I thank you for your loyalty. Don't hesitate to subscribe if it's the first time you've come across the videos, and until then, keep the passion and take care. Bye.